Hey y'all. A few days ago, last week or something, we went through a demo of Murder by Numbers, that Police tune. Kind of a forgotten Police tune because it wasn't on the Synchronicity album, or at least on the vinyl album. I think it was on, I'm certain I had it, so I must have had it on the cassette. So I think on the cassette version of the album they stuck that one on. And it was also on the B-side of one of the singles, like Wrapped Around Your Finger or Every Breath, one of those. It was a B-side. Anyway, if you're going to learn how to play it by ear, which I did, let me kind of walk you through my thought process. Because when you're learning by ear, you make a lot of choices along the way for individual notes and chords. So here's how I went about it. Maybe this will help. Maybe you'll get something from it. If nothing else, you'll at least learn the way I play Murder by Numbers. So the first thing was, on this particular song, because these are not chords that I generally play. I don't know what any of them are called or anything like that. But, you know, I'm more of a kind of a love-me-do kind of guitar player. But these are a little bit different, and I guess probably typical of Andy Summers and Police music, which again I'm not an authority on that. But the first thing I went after was the bass line. So it sounds like, that through the verses. Now in terms of counting it off, like that drum beat or whatever count it is, and there's discussion in the comments of the video I posted. I can't count that. I have no idea what the count is. I just went by memorizing it. So I knew when the first chord comes in, and I knew how I went from there, but I'm not counting along with the beat at all during that song. It's just strictly a case of memorization. But once you get into it, you can follow the timing of it pretty well. It's just the first sort of 30 seconds of it. I have to really kind of pay attention. So the first thing is, if you have that bass line, like that, E, A, B, then B flat, then back again to E. The first thought is, okay, what is the chord that goes with that? It ain't an E. Is it an E minor? E minor's getting you closer. So then I stumble on this one. That's an E minor with the B and E at the 3rd fret. And then what's the second one? It's not that. And then I came on this. That sounds pretty close. So that's B and E at 1, and then D and G at 3 with an A open. But you could get away with that. And that may well be right. But it didn't sound quite right because I want to hear the high E string open on those chords. And if you're doing like that, because you definitely want that G in there. It sort of gives it that free Mr. Big chord sound. So then I'm like, all right, well, maybe it's the E sharp, what is that, E sharp? E7 sharp 9 chord, Hendrix chord. But even that doesn't sound quite right. But then I'm like, okay, let's make that sort of minor. And I stumble on that one, and I like that one. So it is the E7 sharp 9, but one finger down, 1 fret down on the D string at 5 there. And then you could do that. But I went with, since my finger's already in this position, another one that's a little odd. A open, D at 8, G at 5, B at 6, and high E open. And I gotta admit, you know, when I first was, it took me a good 3 or 4 minutes just to do that chord change and get that muscle memory down. Because that's a very unnatural fingering for me anyway. And that's the only way I could get that stretch was to do it with my pinky. So then, okay, I'm like, where do I go from there? Now that one sounds to me like the Hendrix chord done down there at B. And then it has to go. But that didn't sound right to do. But then after, you know, just 15 seconds of trying it out, I arrived at since I already have the D note, the B string at the 3rd fret there, I have the D string open now, and now that's a lot more, that sound is a lot closer to me. So A string at the 1st fret, D open, G at 2, B at 3, high E open. So you can hear you want that high E string open. So there's choices. In fact, before I stumbled on that, I had it as this. Wait, sorry. I had it as that chord instead of this chord. I had it as that. So that would be A, E open, A at 2, G at 2, D at 3, B at 3, and then just move down the A string 1. But I thought that this sounded a little closer. And then that other part, you can turn a murder into art. That one sounded to me like you go. That does sound like the Hendrix chord done up there up there. F sharp. Then the next one was kind of a struggle for a few minutes, and I just that one took me a few minutes to figure out, or at least to arrive at. And again, I don't know if it's the right chord, but that's how I got it. So that one takes the, you know, F sharp 7, sharp 9 or whatever. The Hendrix chord moved up here to this 9th fret. And then move these two stay the same. The G and the B stay the same. A string goes down 1, D gets muted with that fleshy part of your middle finger. And the high E now is at 7. Then back to that, you know, the Hendrix chord in the B position down there. And then the chorus. That one is, I strictly went by the bass line. And I think on the guitar he might be doing, you know, he might be doing a fancy little bass run on the guitar chords. I didn't do it that way. But that one I did use this chord, that first one that I rejected for the main verse chord. But for the chorus it works because you want to do, that's an E minor with the B and E at the 3rd fret. All the way across at the 2nd fret for that F sharp. That's sort of an F sharp minor 7, but the A string is at the. Then you got like a G6, just fretting the E string at the 3rd fret, mute the A string under there, and everything else open. What else is there? Back to the B. Hendrix chord. The only other thing that's really different is there's that one part that it goes. I spent more time on that one chord, figuring that one chord out, than the entire rest of the song. That chord probably took me 10 minutes just to get that, and I'm just doing that as D at 9 and then G B and E at 8. I just had that one I just had to sound out because I know I wanted this. I knew I wanted that note at the high end of it. And then it literally was figuring out, okay, if I start with that, where am I on the B string? I tried everything on the B and ended up with... Tried every possible thing on the G string that you could possibly stretch to. And got those three all on the same fret. And I also knew I wanted that note. The D string at 9. And that was really the last chord in it. There's no guitar solo or anything like that. So those are all the bits and pieces of it. But you can see each chord along the way, you have choices on how you want to do it. And I'm sure that if you look at other people who've done Murder by Numbers on YouTube, no one is playing it the same way I play it. And theirs might be right. Or some 2/3 of mine might be right, and 1/3 of theirs, or mine might be totally wrong, and theirs might be 100% right. But that playing by ear, that's just the nature of it. It's when you go by ear, you're doing your own arrangement. So just go by what you hear, and what sounds right to you. But hopefully, anyway, this is a little lesson on learning by ear as opposed to how to play Murder by Numbers. Maybe you pick that up, but. It is sometimes a question of just one string at a time. Find the one note that you can hear in the chord. For me, if I get the one note that I know is in there, then I can suss out by trial and error a lot of the ones around it. Especially when it's a song like Murder by Numbers, where it's chords that I'm not really familiar with and wouldn't necessarily wouldn't come up with normally. Except sounding it out one string at a time, one note at a time, one finger at a time. So that's today. Good luck.